quick tip. If you are watching or listening to this on the podcast, you're going to want to go maybe to the YouTube channel, Lotpop Inc., to see the videos. I'm going to go live today. I'm going to show you a used car tip to keep your inventory moving. Okay, something practical you can do. A lot of dealerships right now are getting jammed up and things are starting to slow down. So I want to help and give you guys a tip on how to keep this inventory moving without, and I'm going to pull this up over here, Facebook. Anybody want to comment? I'll have Facebook going up live right now, so you can comment on there. And I'll try to keep an eye on that. But I'm going to go over bucket management. Okay, so imagine you got to control your inventory for the next 60 to 90 days. Goes to the end of the year. And if your inventory is starting to bleed through, meaning going from one age bucket to the next, cars are starting to sit in the 30 to 45 bucket, 46 to 60 bucket. They're moving through or bleeding through your aging bucket because things are slowing down. I'm going to give you some insight or tips on what you can do to help minimize that and or clean up any aged inventory you have right now. So again, I'm going to go live and I'm going to show you two different stores. One that's struggling to keep ahead of this and clean things up, and one that having consistency and show you the difference. I'm also going to show you the difference between managing the inventory by dollars, unit dollars versus actual units. Okay, again, that'll be the difference. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and share this screen over here. And this is a dealer one. Again, I got Facebook open over here too, so if you want to do any comments. So you can go in your inventory management tool, vAuto, VinQ, Max Digital, and you could see what I'm showing you over here. You can see what percentage of your dollars are sitting by age bucket: 0 to 15, 16 to 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, and 60 plus. You can see that currently in your systems. One of the things I do want to lay out to you, and this is kind of that vision, if you notice, let's look at 31 to 45. See how that bucket was at 36% of that dealership's inventory, and it's been moving down since then, which you would think looks good. Well, the problem is if you look at their 46 to 60, so August 29th, 36% of their inventory is sitting there in the yellow line. Well, look at a couple weeks later. Here we are on the 11th, and the 46 to 60, the orange bucket now grew. So basically those 31 to 45 turned it into 46 to 60, and the 46 to 60 is going down. So here's some inventory tips. Now, we always talk about first 30. Increase the amount of cars you sell in the first 30 days. That will increase your gross. That will increase your volume. But the problem is you're going to really want to focus on middle bucket management when things are bleeding through or you have an aging problem. This dealership having 18% of their inventory over 60 days old, they have an aging problem. And I could see things bleeding through. So here's how I would cut that off. One, you got to look at what are you selling out of each of those age buckets. We currently look at the last 2 weeks of your sales, and I want to know where are we selling our units out of, okay? So that's the first thing. So if you look, 31 to 45, okay, 9% of their current inventory is sitting there. That's pretty low, but here's the problem. 0% of their sales are going out of that bucket over the last 60 days. So recognize that. Go to your inventory tool, see what, if you want to do percentage of dollars, again, I'm going to add the unit look here. I'm going to show you somebody struggling, somebody doing good. I'm going to show you the percentage of dollars by somebody struggling. I'll go cover what this looks like when you just look at units instead of percentage of dollars. It'll be a different dealer though. But at 9% of their inventory sitting there, if you go look at what you sold over the last 2 weeks and see how many were 31 to 45 days old, and there's nothing going out of there, that goes back to our book. We talk about work the facts. That's a factual problem. You need to address it. So notice 31 to 60, what they're carrying, 22% of their inventory sitting there as a whole. If you have an age problem, which this dealer does with 18% being age, don't start chipping away the age. What you need to do is get this middle bucket below 20%. Get this below 20%. See our goal, less than 25? That's if your inventory is clean. But if you have an aging problem, handle that first. They're carrying 13% 46 to 60 and selling 39% out of 46 to 60. So their big problem is going to be 31 to 45 would be the first place I would attack. Okay. Get that sale rate up so we can get this inventory level below 20s. And then what you want to look at, you want to sell around 5% more than what's sitting there just to have some pad. I know statistically that doesn't add all up. That's over 100% each bucket. But basically, if I have 9% sitting here, I want to crank this up to about 14% of my sales. Or if 22% is sitting in this middle bucket, crank your middle bucket sale rate up to at least 27+%. What that does is strangles off the bleed through and doesn't allow cars to add to the age bucket. Once you strangle that bleed through off, might take you a month, might take you 2 months, might take you a few weeks or a month or couple months. Once you do that, then you start chipping away at that age. If you got 20 age cars, do 10 this month, 10 next month, and you're good. As long as you keep that middle bucket clean and your age cars are gone going into November, okay, or exiting November. So first do that. The other thing is, then you got to get your 0 to 30 going too. And notice 16 to 30, they have 23% sitting there. Only 6% of their sales are going out. Again, go look at those cars, figure out what cars are in there and attack them. Figure out which ones you need to make adjustments on in your inventory tool somehow, some way. Okay. So you want to make sure you're doing that. I'm going to change this back to dollars and attack those buckets. You always want to be selling about 5% or more than what's sitting there. Okay. So don't worry about the age. Of course, you're going to chip away at that. You got to stop the bleed through first and get that fresh sale. As you're working out 31 to 45, get that fresh sale rate going up and then start chipping away at that aged inventory. Now, if we want to look at this at like unit counts, okay, again, same approach. So, well, here, let's go back to that struggling dealer. Notice where they're selling. They're all over the place. They have some going out 0 to 15. They got most of it going out 46 to 60. There's really no consistency in where they're selling cars other than this kind of scrambling. Let's take it a different route. Check out the unit counts here. Okay, this dealer's sitting on 167 units. They're going to sell 160 to 200 units a month off of this. And if you notice, 72% of their sales come out in the first 30 days. Notice their middle bucket's sitting at 13%. They don't, and look how straight, how over the last 30 days, how clean, and I can even go back the last 60 or 90 days. Look how clean this middle bucket management is. Okay. And what that really does is minimize any possibility of age coming through. Okay. Notice they start cranking up their sale rate on their 31 to 45 because they started seeing it build up going back here. And they cranked up the sale rate to minimize any cars going into 46 to 60. Okay. So you can do it by units, but let me explain what you want to look at units. If you have 18 units sitting here, at 31 to 45, okay? And look at how many units over the last 2 weeks. And then you want to times that by 2, right? So if I got 18 units, if I want to clear out my whole inventory every month, I got 160 in stock. I want to sell 160 a month. Well, if I have 18 units here and over the last 2 weeks, I've sold 10, that puts me on pace to sell 20 in a 4-week period. In that month, my sale rate's fine there, okay? But if I have 18 units sitting there and over the last 2 weeks, only 5 has gone out, then you're only on pace to sell 10. You need to uptick the sale rate out of that middle bucket. So really, that's the example I would say of, let me stop sharing here. So again, the tip is going to be get that middle bucket management going, okay, to really help eliminate bleed through going into October, November, slower months, to help clean up your inventory going into, and imagine that if you can clean up your inventory going November and December, and your inventory is tight, then you get to be a buyer going into January, February, March. And that's the February, March, that tax season. So you want to be able to be a buyer. If you wait until, and things are just starting to get bad, and if you wait to November or December or January to even clean that up, you're not going to be able to be at the lane making, getting good deals or anything like that. Or actually, I'd want to clean up by into October, going in November. I want to be clean, because you'll probably be able to get some really good deals at the end of this year, November and December, as things slow down through the holiday season. And remember, we have tax season, not tax season. It's an election year. So November election time is going to stir the pot for a little bit too. So hope this tip was helpful. Middle bucket management. And here we got Work the Facts book. It goes over all that in here. Okay. Go to workthefacts.com. Okay. Order the book. All the metrics charts are in here that you're going to want to look at or maybe create on your own. Our system does it for you on a daily basis if you want our help to do that. But that book breaks this type of a approach to your inventory down. Attack those middle buckets. Keep that 30 to 60, 20% or lower if you have an aging problem, so you can start cleaning it up, but get the middle stuff going first before you attack the age stuff. And then and or again, units, keep that unit count. The way you're going to want to look at it, units, is see how many you have there in that bucket, what you sold in the last 2 weeks times 2, and see if your sale rate's keeping up with what's sitting there. All right. Lotpop.com. If you'd like to have a demo, we just launched a Ford Direct offer. That's a great deal for any Ford stores that we can sign you up through. We have our Lotpop University, day and a half of going through these type of metrics to help you stay on top of your inventory, client or non-client. We host it here in Kansas City. Go to lotpopu.com. Day and a half course to keep you on track, keep ahead of this market. Hope this was helpful. Again,